We're talking about soap today. Kind of a funny topic. Why do we use soap? What's in it and what does it do for us? Well, we use soap obviously because things need to be clean. So that's something we're ordinarily familiar with. When you wash your hands, you put soap on it, you scrub them, you rinse it under some warm water, and your hands are clean. You clean your hands before you have dinner, before you have a meal. Very common practice. When we wash our clothes, we put a little bit of soap in there. When you look at what those soaps remove, what they're attacking, those soaps are a bad choice for what we clean. When you get hand soap, they are body soaps and hand soaps are specifically formulated to work with the oils and the contaminants that you're trying to remove from your hands ordinarily. Same thing with your clothes. You would not use laundry soap to wash your car. It's a bad choice. People do it. It's not a great soap for that. Neither is Dawn dish soap. Dawn is a very good, high quality retail soap. Most soaps that you buy retail or consumer grade stuff is not going to be equivalent to the strength of what we use. But Dawn dish soap is a good soap. It's just the wrong soap for what we use. In fact, if you look at the back of the bottle of Dawn dish soap, it says specifically, do not mix with bleach. It says that because it gives off a dangerous chemical called a, oh God, I got to get it right. We'll come back to it. It's not chloro. I'll come back to it. I haven't said the word in a while. I can't remember it for this video. It gives off a dangerous class of gases. One of those gases that it gives off is actually straight chlorine gas, which is not good for you. You breathe that in, it's mustard gas, like World War I, World War II. It's literally chlorine gas. It makes hydrochloric acid in high concentrate on your skin and in your lungs. You can ask Craig Harrison, the owner and founder of F9 products that we use in our industry, about the 2 weeks he spent in a hospital dying from breathing in muriatic acid, hydrochloric acid. Not a good choice. So we don't use Dawn dish soap. So what do we need? What's in our soap? Our soap does a couple things. There's certainly cleaning agents, soaps, cleansers in our soap. Very little bit of it, okay? Mostly what's in our soap is what's called a surfactant. Fancy word for make it stick, okay? So if you've ever seen, like in a cartoon or a meme or a funny, think back to old like Jerry Lewis movies and stuff from the 50s and 60s or whatever they were made, some cartoonish kind of effect where you get a lot of bubbles. You put the wrong soap in a laundry machine. If you put the wrong soap in your dishwasher machine, it can bubble over with soap going everywhere, like cartoon, like going down the hallways of your house, okay? So a surfactant makes things bubbly. What it does is it does what's called reduce surface tension. So think of the molecules as being a bunch of molecules, little dirts and whatever you're trying to clean, all stuck together. And also think of the water molecules themselves bonding to one another, holding on to one another. And reducing surface tension is kind of like this, is taking it from where it's very strong and making it, the water's still together, but it's more easily separated, okay? So when you reduce the surface tension, that allows the cleaning agents, the other ingredients that are in the water with it, like our bleach, the sodium hypochlorite, to penetrate into things and actually do its job. To clean things, to attack things that the soap part needs to attack and do what's called emulsify. Think of it as like pick it up and put it into the solution, clean it away. In other words, like scrape it off, chemically scrape it off. So a surfactant makes it bubbly and sticky, and it's going to stick to whatever you apply it to. So we use our general soap on a house, for the siding, for brick, hardy board, ephes, all that stuff. Painted surfaces, we put it in the solution. We turn it up and put a little more in there when we put it on a roof, because the solution that you'll learn, the solution that we use on a roof is stronger. And so we definitely want it to stick for longer so it doesn't run down into the gutters and into the ground, okay? Same thing with the house, we want it to stick to the house. That gives us an important property of our cleaning solution called dwell time. That's how much time that chemical spends, that cleaning solution spends, applied to the surface instead of going like this and running down and into the ground and gone. it stays up here on the house doing its job, working on whatever it's working on, whether it's killing mold or mildew or trying to break down spider webs or dirtiness of the house, and suspend that stuff, like pick it up off the house and, quote, clean it. And so when you go to rinse it away, it rinses away easily. So the main property in our soap is that it's a surfactant, okay? The soaps that we have in our, the ingredients that we have in our soap do a very good job, or very strong by themselves as cleaning agents. There's just not a lot of it. One of the things that our soap is, I like to say, is terrible at, is it's terrible at removing the oils from a roof. Our industry likes to use the wrong stuff. It's a gross negligence. These people should be put in jail. They go to homeowners, they sell cheap roof cleaning, cheap house cleaning. Oh, I'm a SoftWash, me too. I'm cheap, I'm the cheap guy. I'm Charlie Hustle, Johnny's Power Wash. And they use a soap that does a good cleaning, emulsification, degreasing action of cleaning, like Dawn dish soap, and they put it on a roof, or they use laundry soap, and that's a good strong detergent, which you do not want on a roof. So then you're pulling the oils out of the asphalt roof shingles. So our soap is terrible at doing that, because it should be terrible at doing that. It's not the goal. That actually does more harm to the roof than what our process does, because the soaps are strong and can pull the oils out of it. So you're killing the mold and algae that's growing up there with the bleach, but then you're putting harmful product on the roof because you're putting an intensive cleaner up there, which is terrible. So again, our soap has, the primary ingredients are that it has a surfactant. Think of it as liquid, what do I call it? Liquid Teflon, or not Teflon, what's this stuff? Velcro. Liquid Velcro. So when you put it in there, the more you turn up the dial on the mixing system, you'll learn what that is. When we make our product, if we put more soap in, it makes it more liquid Velcro, okay? It has soap cleaning agents in it to clean, and basically when you kill all this stuff and when you have actual dirtiness and dust and real soils on the house, on the brick, on the sidewalk, on the roof, it does an action of cleaning it, emulsifying it. Think of it as like working it slowly like this and picking it up into the solution itself, so that when the water comes along to rinse it, it goes for a ride and it rinses it away. The third thing that it does is it has a product in it that will break down specifically the spider webs and bug's nests. It does a very good job with that. Dawn dish soap, Gain laundry soap do not have the exact ingredient that we have that is terribly effective at breaking down the spider webs and bugs nests at a low concentration. The fourth thing that it does that most people overlook in our industry is they use the wrong soaps. The ingredient that we have has a special ingredient in it. I'm not going to tell you what it is on tape, what the ingredient is, but it's called an amphoteric surfactant. It makes, it's a bleach booster. So it makes the sodium hypochlorite work better at the same concentration. So think of it as turning the temperature up. Our bleach is this effective at this concentration. Well, at the same concentration with our soap added, it makes it more effective. It makes the bleach work better at the same concentration. It's a catalyst, it's a bleach booster. And that's a terribly valuable property of the soap, so that we're spending more money on the soap and getting a better bleaching, cleaning, disinfecting action without having to add more bleach to it, which costs money. The soap costs more, but without spending more money on bleach and without putting more bleach up there that'll end up in the ground, which can do harm to the plants. So that's what our soap does. So that's what's in the soap. That's how it does its action. The more soap that we use, the more it'll stick to what it's meant to stick to. The thing that it works against you as a surfactant, our soap, is that you want to find that happy medium. So that the numbers that we've given you, where to set your dials, how much soap to add for different types of mixes, what you're cleaning, should be adhered to, because if you put more soap in, more is not better, okay? It's not the expense, although it is expensive. Relative to the chemicals, it's a very expensive product. To put that in comparison, when we mix a 1% solution of bleach, it's got a lot more bleach in it than soap, but cost-wise, it can have the same amount of cost or higher for the soap versus how much bleach is in there. So the soap is definitely more money, but that's not the important part of this. What we don't want to do is put a lot of soap in there because it makes it slower to rinse. Think about all those bubbles, all that bubbling action. If it reduces surface tension in the water, when the water goes to apply to a house, a patio, a sidewalk, whatever you're rinsing, it's hitting that water. It's not like a wall of water that gets behind it and pushes it all off. Think of rinsing as being like a dilution process. When you put that initial wall of water up there, it's going to rinse a lot off of what's up there. But some of that water is kind of like sticking to the house itself, sticking to the patio, sticking to the sidewalk, sticking to the tennis court, the awning. And as you keep adding water to it, it'll keep diluting it and rinsing it down. Well, if you put a lot of soap in there, the surfactant, it's slow to rinsing, okay? And that's not a good thing. So the surfactant quality of the soap, while it does a good job of bubbling things up, gives you more dwell time, makes the bleach work more effectively at the same concentration. It also has a property with the soap in it to actually cleaning agent. It has what's called chelating properties to it. Chelating is a rinse agent, okay, helps with the rinsing process. But too much soap will slow down the rinsing because it makes it more bubbly, reduces the surface tension more, and makes the water less effective at rinsing away the cleaning solution, which is a water-based solution with the chemicals in it. And then when the water without the soap in it hits that, it doesn't want to mix with it. It doesn't rinse off the house as readily. So then when we walk away, everything looks clean and everything looks fine and the windows are wet and the siding's wet. But when you leave, there's some chemical residue left behind in that rinse water that's still on the house and still on the windows. And that will dry up into streaks and cloudiness because the chemicals are left behind because you overdid it on the soap. So there's too little soap where it doesn't do its job, and there's too much soap. How do you think we got to those numbers? Two ways. One, we got great education from the people who originally founded the soft washing industry, a company called Mallard Systems in Orlando, Florida, or Sanford, Florida more specifically. That's the company that really originally made the soft washing industry what it is today. Like, boom, blew it up, right? The original owner of Mallard is the guy in the industry that lays claim to inventing soft washing. Let's say he did. So we learned from him. He was our mentor and coach for nearly 3 years, taught us the business. So we certainly got a great accelerated learning curve by learning it there. All of those years of experience he had got taught to us. The next thing is we've cleaned over 13,000 projects as of the date of this recording and done over $21 million in work. So yeah, we have a lot of experience, and through experience, we've dialed in to the right settings on the dials to know what to put those numbers at. So when we give you those prescriptions, you're not going to outsmart the soap. You're not going to outthink 35 years of history of soft washing and figure out a better method with our soap. Stick to the numbers. They work well, and it's not too much soap to slow down your rinsing process. When you do that, guaranteed you're going to run into a bunch of touch-up with problem windows, unhappy clients, not delivering our signature superior service experience, and that is not what we aim to do. That is not delivering great service to our clients. It's cheating them. So that's what our soap is. That's what it does for you. That's what it's made from. And happy washing, huh?